Alright, I may regret this, but in this video, I'm going to be reviewing my church's live stream. Hey guys, this is AJ the CEO. This is your first time stopping by the channel. Thanks for stopping by, and on this channel we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So this past Sunday, actually today, I was not at my church because I was at another church that has hired me to be their help with their youth and young adults. So what I decided to do is, just like last week I reviewed a church, I decided to be transparent and share my own church's live stream with y'all. This isn't a beatdown session for the people in my media ministry. This is just something that I think at no point in time do I want to consider that my channel, our church's live stream is just it. I mean, there's no room for growth. There's nothing. No. Most of the time, a lot of the stuff that I bring to y'all are because of issues I might have found in our live stream, and I want to help you avoid those type of situations. So this Sunday was kind of different, had a couple of issues, and I want to share those with you. And then tomorrow when I go to the church, we're going to solve all those issues and see if we can find out what could have been the problem. Was it technical? Was it a training issue? Is it some documentation that I need to make it easier? Or is it just practice? You know, we don't know. We're just going to find out whatever it is, and I'm just going to take you along with me, and we're going to see what it is. So because it's late, let me get my headphones on so I can hear what's going on, and let's go over to the computer. Alrighty, here I'm on the church's stream, and first off, I'm gonna play the original. And let me go. Actually, let's go into the comments first, shall we? So the first thing we had, oh, that wasn't a new one. First thing we had is, it looks like there was no sound. Don't know what that is. That's going to be one of the things we look at tomorrow. But this is just showing you just how important a live stream is. People are really dependent on that. And there's a couple of people here that I am not familiar with, that this was not the greatest of representations when we have our first live stream. Just like, well, again, I wasn't there, and I know a couple of people were reaching out to me, so I was remoting in and talking to the media team, and they were saying it was a couple of issues. Like, they had no idea why the sound wasn't working. Just really don't know. So that might be a deeper issue, but don't ever think that your live stream is not that important, and it's just something cute and nobody's really paying attention to it. It's ministry, and it is really important to put your best foot forward. Just like you wouldn't let your sound system in your sanctuary just screech. Somebody left the mics and pointed right directly at a speaker. You wouldn't leave that on the entire time, and that's almost the equivalent of if you don't address issues inside of your live stream. So let's go ahead and see how it all starts. Alright, so from right here, let's go full screen with this. So first thing from right here, and I'm just making sure that I do have sound, but there is absolutely no sound on this. Now, here we have speakers, and I don't know if I can have a picture of this, but we have speakers on our system, and with OBS you can actually turn the speakers on to see, do you hear anything? And even if you don't, there's a visual representation to show if you have sound. So, like, for example, let me bring up my ATEM so you can see what's going on. So first off, what I noticed is XLR. The XLR is how sound is coming from the sound system in the church into our ATEM. This even though it was enabled, nothing was coming in on it at all. So it was enabled like this, but there was no sound coming in at all. So that made me think that either there was an issue from the soundboard, the cable got knocked loose that's going from the Behringer into our ATEM, or it's sound going into the Behringer is a problem, or the Behringer was just off. That's just one of those things that really got to look at again, and that's what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. So as you can see, just like I have right now, how I got around it is our back camera. I came in and just turned that mic on, which is not ideal, but it was better than nothing. All right, so that was our first issue. And so like right now it's streaming, but this isn't something you would want to see. This is normally where we would want to have the welcome screen going on, the one that we made with the countdown and everything like that. So it looks like it was switched over to this, but then it was never switched back to anything else. So if I come in here and skip forward, see the choir's already going and there's still no sound. Still nothing going on. And so we're about 20 minutes in now, and there's no sound. But again, the good thing, that's our opening hymn. That's the welcome. And there was nothing here. So what do we take away from this so far is, first, that the test phase of testing the live stream, I need to also include that we turn the computer speakers up. Well, first off, let's actually just do it here. Let's remote in to our live streaming system. All right, so this is our live streaming system here, and one thing, like in here, on each level, what you can do is come in here, and I can come in here to the little gear. I'm gonna go through each sign. So this is our starting scene. Normally when we start, it starts on this, but we switch over to streaming, and obviously it's 10 o'clock at night. All the cameras and everything are off at the church. But we switch over to this just to make sure, are we getting a picture and sound? This bar should light up with any type of sound going on, because at this time, people are in there talking. It should be able to pick them up. Then we're supposed to switch back to this, and then this is where the countdown would have kicked off, starting at 9:45. So as you can see, the bar should be lit up like this. Now what I'm going to do is come in here, go to advanced audio properties, and you can do monitor off, meaning that whoever's monitoring that sound is off. We can turn that. Now y'all can't hear this, but the music is now blasting in my ear. So I don't want to turn this down like this, but now I could hear that because it's routing all the sound to my headphones. Now the idea is, if we have all of our channels have output and just have the volume on the computer speakers really low, you'll be able to hear very easily, if you're not noticing any of these bars, that there's no sound going out. So I'm gonna leave this here. Now I'm gonna switch over to here, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this channel. We're gonna come to this, to advanced, monitor output. Same thing on each scene. Now because this scene is duplicated throughout all the scenes, I made the change in one location and it carries all the way over. Now from here, there should be no sound except for this little intro music, and this is for the do not disturb, and we're going to do the same thing here. And then at the outro, it's really not needed because I actually turned that video off. It's just the image at the end. So at this point, and that's really loud. So at this point, we have it now to where all of our scenes are going to be playing actual music. You'll be able to actually hear what's going on. So hopefully that will help. I need to change the steps inside of our intranet page here. When it comes to live streaming, I need to maybe update this so that we can talk about those. Like, I even link my own videos here for what I'm doing at the church, because a lot of the stuff we're doing is for our church, to show them how we do all of this stuff. So I need to add an article in here to say that the computer sound, the speakers need to be turned up. That way you can tell if any sound is actually coming through, and that needs to be a part of the test to make sure everything is working. So I will log in and change that later. Let's log out of here and let's go back to now. That was the end of the video, because at this point I had remoted in thinking it was something the matter with OBS, shut it down, restart it, but that wasn't it. So now we're going to pick up on number 2. So issue number 2, looks like this is stuttering as well too. So I don't know what was going on with this. I think we've been trying to lock down a lot that people are on the live stream, on our network, start either playing games, the kids, or a lot of people are streaming from their phones for whatever reason on top of we already have it. So that little issue, that was the announcements that were being played, and it looks like one of the media folks were telling us that there was no sound there coming from the computer. So that's another problem. So worst case scenario, it could be that our soundboard is dead, but that doesn't make sense, because if the soundboard was dead, there would have been no sound in the sanctuary, and immediately people would have complained about that. So we can mark that off the list as the problem. But again, we have the issues that we've added up on our list here. So going through this some more, I'm gonna scrub through. See, at this point, I've actually added audio here, and I don't think y'all can hear what's going on. Let me bring the audio in so y'all can hear. Alright, so I got the sound working so y'all be able to hear what's going on. Hopefully I'm gonna crank it down so it's not too loud. But even through here, we didn't have any sound. So at this point, I'm remoting in. I restarted OBS, and I actually enabled the mic, the back mic, which again, I was saying is not the best of ideals, because it's going to pick up ambient sound. People who are closer to that mic are going to hear it. You're hearing what people would normally hear, and you're not getting the full source of what would happen if you're coming from the sound system, but that's better than nothing. So that's what I did, and you'll hear it here in a second when it picks up. Alright, and I tried to drop the volume, so hopefully it's not that loud, but you can hear it's ambient. So it got people by, but it's not ideal. So again, it's just one of those things where you really got to make sure, double, triple, quadruple check everything is working, because when you're in the heat of the situation, in the heat of the battle, you don't have that much time to try and fix an issue, especially just spot checking and trying to do break fix stuff. It doesn't work unless you really know what's going on. Alright, so let me turn this volume down here, and we're just gonna scrub through this a little bit more. Take this off here. Now, I'll be honest, the fact I do like about the fact that that mic is on, we actually get audience sound. And that was one thing I've been trying to play around with. We'll put shotgun mics in the front because we have a bunch of connections there. But wanted to put a couple of mics pointed at the congregation so that we can get ambient sound as well as get sound of when anybody's talking and they don't hold the mic properly or they don't have a mic on them at all. But it does give good sound from that standpoint. Alright, so that's something not as that's a problem, but that's a possible way of fixing that. Let's see what's going on here. See, again, that's not really that good, just because of how far away everybody is. Alright. Now, the other thing I'm not able to tell right now is, was the whole service recorded? Because if it was recorded, we'll be pulling the audio directly from the sound system. That's another thing I'm going to have to check out tomorrow when I head up there. But let's see how everything ended. Now, honestly, what we do normally when the word is finished being preached, we shut off the stream. But it looks like that wasn't done in this time. And there's nothing the matter with that. If you set up whatever standards you want to do, but this is what we have been doing. So I think this just happened to be, it might have been a moment where this was forgot about. So right about here is where our stream normally would have ended. Just want to see how this ends. At 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so it just ends. So there was no transition to the thank you for watching, nothing like that. So this is just, hopefully people in my media ministry are watching this as well too. But again, I hope this is being transparent, just showing you that there's always room for everybody to learn. We don't do everything right. We are on the constant battle and journey of getting better every single day. And the only way you can get better is sitting back, looking and analyzing what your strengths and weaknesses are, and that's kind of what this was. So I hope y'all enjoyed me being transparent on what's going on at my church. If you like this type of content, I would appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Now, honestly, I really think y'all do like the content, because if I look under my analytics, it says that 77.5% of y'all that are watching my videos aren't subscribed. So please consider subscribing and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. This is AJ, and we will see you on the next video later.